Do you know how much Isagi respects Rin? Or what about Sai Itoshi? How much respect does Sai have for his brother? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down in today's video. We'll be giving each character a percentage of how much they respect Rin, starting with the ones who have the least respect and working our way up to the ones who have the most. So let's get right into it with the first character, Julian Loki, who's only got 5% respect for Rin. Now, when Loki first saw Rin during the match against the World 5, he was actually pretty impressed by Rin for scoring the first goal. So when Rin joined PXG during the Neo Egoist League, Loki made Rin the starting striker and expected him to score lots of goals. And when Rin scored that ridiculous crash goal against Bastard München and awakened Charles, Loki told Rin he was incredible, and was so hyped that he even subbed himself in. But yeah, all respect Loki had for Rin completely disappeared in just minutes. Why? Well, after Loki subbed himself in, he set up a perfect pass for Rin to finish, but Rin didn't score. And right after that, Loki snapped and said, "I can't believe you didn't score off my pass." He was even so disappointed in him that he also said, "It'll take 10,000 years before the world's best striker comes from Japan." So yeah, he basically thinks all Japanese football players are bad, and he's got no respect for them, and that now includes Rin. Now, the guy you've all been waiting for, Sai Itoshi, and he respects his brother at 30%. Yeah, you guys probably thought he would be at like 0%, right? But nope, Sai actually does have some respect for his brother, although he really doesn't show it. Like when they were kids, Sai was actually the one who encouraged Rin to play football as he thought little Rin was incredible. They were super close, played football all the time, and even made a promise to become the world's best strikers together. But then, everything changed. Sai got scouted by Real's Youth Academy and left Japan for 4 years. When he came back, he was a totally different person and told Rin he didn't want to be a striker anymore and wanted to become the best midfielder instead. But Rin, still holding on to their childhood dream, challenged Sai to a 1 versus 1 to bring their dream back. But yeah, Sai crushed him and told him that he's disgusted with him and that Japanese football was trash. That said, Sai doesn't hate Rin. He's not even angry. Sai just sees that Rin's stuck in the past, and he's disappointed that Rin isn't growing into the player he should, which is why he says things like, "You'll never beat me if you keep seeing yourself as Sai Itoshi's little brother." Even when Rin played out of his mind during the U20 match, even shutting down Sai's dribbling, Sai is disappointed that Rin didn't score the winning goal. So when Sai goes up to Rin who's feeling down, Rin thinks he's going to praise him. Nope! Sai instead praises Isagi and calls him the future of Japanese football. Yeah, Rin absolutely lost it. All this said, Sai does respect his brother and Rin's talent, but he wants Rin to get better. So he does some kind of reverse psychology to make Rin hate him so Rin can get fueled up and become better. But yeah, Sai did basically disown his own brother and finds a way to insult and emotionally abuse Rin every time they meet. So he just can't be higher than 30%. But going all the way from 30% to 45%, we've got Ryuse Shido. Although, yeah, these guys absolutely hate each other. Like they can't go 5 minutes without fighting. Literally. On the field, off the field. As teammates, it doesn't matter. These guys will just start throwing hands. And that's because they're complete opposites. Shido is wild and aggressive, while Rin is cold and calculated, so Shido hates how Rin plays football. Still, although Shido would never admit it, he knows Rin's a beast. Like Rin even beat Shido to a ball once and scored, and Shido lost his mind. But, although Shido knows Rin's a good player, these guys can't be on the pitch together. Ego even straight up said these two should never be on the same team because they have zero chemistry. Which is why when they played together at PXG, whenever Rin played, Shido was benched, and vice versa. Well, until they played against Bastard München when Shido actually agreed to share the field with Rin in the same formation. And when Rin scored that insane crash goal, Shido was actually hyped and thought it was a crazy goal. So yeah, Shido does have some respect for Rin's skills now, but he still absolutely hates him. Moving on, let's talk about another PXG player who's got 65% respect for Rin, Charles Chevalier. We all know Charles is an insanely good midfielder with god-tier passing. However, he just doesn't want to pass to Rin. No, seriously, he thinks Rin is such a boring player that plays way too calculated and safe and doesn't let Charles shine with his passes. Like Charles seriously wanted to be subbed off when Shido was being shut down during the Bastard München match, even though Rin was completely open. But yeah, that changed real quick, because when Rin scored that crash shot goal, Charles absolutely loved it. He said it was incredible and called Rin a maniac, but as Charles is a crazy guy too, he loves it. So now Charles has a lot more respect for Rin, and yep, he'll actually pass him the ball. Now, let's leave PXG players behind and talk about Aoshi Tokumitsu at 70%. Tokumitsu was on Rin's team during the second selection, so he got to see up close just how insanely good Rin is at football, and he seriously respects Rin's skills. But at the same time, Tokumitsu's also really scared of him. Like when Rin starts going off on his crazy speeches about crushing his enemies, turning the match into a battlefield, and fighting to the death, Tokumitsu gets terrified of him. So while he respects Rin's skills, he definitely doesn't respect Rin's crazy talk. Next up, let's talk about Shoei Baro at 85%. We all know Baro is a hothead who only sees himself as the king. That said, he does still respect other players who are good, which is exactly why he respects Rin, as he knows Rin is a very good player. However, he doesn't respect Rin as much as he respects Isagi. You see, during the Japan U20 match, Baro literally says, "Rin is just another Isagi." Yeah, he seriously said that. After scoring that insane goal, Isagi asks Baro how he did that crazy play, and Baro explains he wanted to devour Isagi but couldn't read his plays. So instead, he followed Rin's movement, knowing Rin and Isagi thinks the same, waiting for Isagi's last pass to Rin, predicting where the ball would land, and boom, goal. That's why he called Rin just another Isagi, as it means he respects Rin for being an insanely smart and good player, but it also means to Baro he's just the other guy, which is pretty crazy. Staying at 85%, we've got Tabito Karasu. When Karasu first met Rin during the third selection as part of the top 6, he immediately thought Rin was an arrogant jerk. And honestly, Karasu still thinks Rin's a big arrogant bully. But, leaving his personal feelings behind him, Karasu truly respects Rin for his insane football skills. Like when Rin pulled off that blind shot goal, Karasu said Rin was on a whole other level. He also praised Rin for his defending when Karasu was going on the offensive. So yeah, Karasu might not like Rin, but he truly sees him as a genius, and that's why he's got to be at 85%. Another player at 85% is Kenyu Yukimiya. Now, Yukimiya and Rin haven't had a ton of moments together, but whenever they do, Yukimiya gets a bit scared of how dark Rin is. Like when Yukimiya and Nagi were playing a game where they thought about the Japan U20 players as animals, Rin popped up out of nowhere and called Sai a worthless creature like a mosquito. And yeah, that's when Yukimiya was like, alright, maybe let's not play this game anymore. Anyway, Yukimiya thinks Rin is insanely dark and scary, but he does also respect him for his crazy football skills. Moving up to 90%, we've got Yo Hiyori. Yeah, this might surprise you, but Hiyori respects Rin a lot. Ever since Hiyori teamed up with Rin during the third selection, Hiyori respected Rin's skills, and they even had some very nice teamwork, with Hiyori following Rin's play. And believe it or not, but Rin actually doesn't have that cold attitude towards Hiyori, which he usually has to almost everyone else. Oh, and we even see Hiyori tending to Rin after he got smacked in the face by Shido during the U20 match. So Hiyori clearly respects Rin as a player, but he also respects him as a teammate and does care about him as somewhat of a friend. Next up, let's talk about Hyoma Chigiri at 92%. Just like Hiyori, Chigiri seriously respects Rin's insane football skills. Like during the second selection, when Chigiri was teamed up with Isagi and played against Rin, Chigiri straight up said, "I had no idea he was that good," when Rin scored that insane goal. That said, Chigiri does think Rin is a pretty nuts guy, but he respects how insanely good he is, especially after playing against him and seeing how unstoppable he really is. Continuing with people who think Rin is unstoppable, we've got Gurimu Igarashi at 95%. When Igarashi saw Rin pull off that insane move by kicking 2 balls that collided mid-air, he straight up called Rin an unreal monster, and was terrified that he would have to play against players like him. So Igarashi really respected how good Rin is. Oh, and don't forget, when Igarashi came up against Rin during the PXG match, Igarashi used his Super Flow move, which is literally just running into Rin and getting a free kick. Anyway, just look at how Igarashi celebrated when he stopped him. Like, that reaction alone shows how much he respects Rin. Another player at 95% respect for Rin is Oliver Aiku. Just like the others, Aiku got a ton of respect for how good Rin is, especially during the U20 match. Like, remember when Aiku entered his flow state and completely destroyed everyone? No one could get past him. So when he came face to face against Rin, he was confident he would take him down. Well, until he realized he had absolutely 0% chance against him. So yup, Aiku is another one who's got total respect for Rin's skills. Now, going from 95% to 98%, we've got Seishiro Nagi. When Nagi first met Rin back in the second selection, Rin started going off about the pitch being a battlefield and all that intense stuff, but yeah, that was way too much for lazy Nagi, so he just said, "This guy sounds like a bother." But once the match got started, Nagi realized how good Rin was, and got a lot of respect for him. And by the time they faced off again in the 4 versus 4 match during the third selection, Nagi was actually hyped to go against him. But when Rin started reading and shutting down all of Nagi's plays, he straight up called him a genius. That said, Nagi literally also said that if Rin were an animal, he'd be a sludge monster that poisons you if you touch it. Yeah, I don't know if that's an animal, but calling someone a toxic blob got to keep you just under 100%. And someone else who's actually also at 98% is Nijiro Nanase. Why? Because Rin basically helped him achieve his dream of making it into Japan's U20 squad. How? Well, while Nanase played alongside Rin on PXG, he took on the role of a post player, literally doing whatever Rin needed just to survive in Blue Lock. He even bowed his head to Rin, showing just how far he was willing to go. And honestly, it worked. Rin's insane plays made Nanase look better than he actually was, helping him shine enough to earn a spot. So yeah, Nanase owes Rin big time and seriously respects him for it. Now, let's talk about Yoichi Isagi, because Isagi respects Rin at 100%. The first time Isagi saw Rin, he literally flexed by kicking 2 balls that collided mid-air. Like Isagi was amazed, calling Rin's technique beautiful, and straight up called him incredible. Then when they faced off during the second selection, Isagi thought Rin was way too good to beat. However, that's when Isagi declared himself as Rin's #1 rival, and that no matter what, he'd surpass him. And because of this rivalry, these two have an intense chemical reaction. Like they keep devouring and baiting each other to create their own goal. Now fast forward to the match between Bastard München and PXG, and Rin and Isagi go head to head, fighting for every ball and keeping each other from scoring. Yeah, it's basically a 1 versus 1 the entire game. So Isagi truly respects Rin's skills, and he sees him as his #1 rival, so he's got to be at 100%. Another player who's got 100% respect for Rin is Meguru Bachira. Bachira first started to respect Rin and his skills when they faced off during the second selection. And after Rin picked Bachira to join his team, they actually grew pretty close. Because as teammates, they trained together and Bachira saw Rin as someone who could help him reach a new level. Not only that, but Rin gave him some cold, honest advice, which truly helped Bachira break through his monster trauma and evolve into a true striker who plays for himself, which we all saw when he faced off against Isagi during the second selection. And on the field, Rin pushes Bachira to his limit, and Bachira thrives on that challenge and absolutely loves it. So Bachira truly respects Rin, not only for his football skills, but also for helping him out. And Bachira is actually closer to a friendship with Rin than most people, although he gets on his nerves a lot. Staying at 100%, we've got Jyubei Aryu. Aryu was one of Rin's first teammates back in the second selection, and at first, he thought Rin was completely nuts after scoring straight from kickoff. Not just nuts at football, but nuts in the head. Still, Aryu truly respects Rin's ridiculous football skills. But why is Aryu at 100%? Simple, Aryu thinks Rin has an insane amount of glam. Yeah, he even admitted Rin might be even more glam than him. Like, he thinks everything Rin does is just so glam that he literally gets jealous of him at times. So yeah, when you're this glam, Aryu of course respects you at 100%. But now, last but definitely not least, we gotta talk about Jinpachi Ego, who's also at 100%. Ego respects Rin a lot for how good he is at football. I mean, when Ego was picking the starting lineup for the U20 match, he put Rin at the center and built the Blue Lock team around him. He even said if they score 4 goals, Rin will score 5, which just shows how much he trusts Rin's ability. And when Rin snapped into his insane flow during the U20 match and completely destroyed his opponents, Ego literally said Rin was a madman. But yeah, we all know Ego just loves this stuff, so he definitely respects Rin at 100%. How much do you respect Rin? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and watch this video next.